Demonstrators taken away in zip ties tonight. These arrests stemming from ongoing labor disputes involving West Coast hospitality workers. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. In Los Angeles today, striking hotel workers marched through the streets, while in Las Vegas, some culinary workers are being arrested in a show of civil disobedience. Thousands of culinary workers are blocking part of the Las Vegas Strip tonight. Police moved in and removed those demonstrators a short time ago. The union is hoping this informational picket will prevent a strike, which the union has authorized. The union has been negotiating a 5-year contract with resort casino operations, demanding better wages, additional benefits, and job protections. Another round of negotiations is set for Friday. And in Southern California, more than 1,000 union hotel workers marched through downtown L.A. today, disrupting traffic in an effort to call attention to their nearly 4-month-long strike. This was the scene outside the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. Members of Unite Here Local 11 have been staging strikes on a revolving basis, targeting a handful of hotels at a time ever since early July. The union represents 15,000 workers at about 60 major hotels in Los Angeles and Orange counties. They say the hotels are offering what they describe as poverty wages.
We've had workers have to skip meals or watch their kids have to skip meals. And this is the United States, and this is one of the richest cities in the country. So I think the companies need to see that if their executives can make millions of dollars per year, then it's okay for them to be able to make enough to just live in the city that they work in.
The coordinated bargaining group represents the hotels. In a statement, the group said the union's, quote, inflexibility and insistence on all its demands will not end this labor dispute or get employees what they're asking for, immediate wage increases, as well as a new contract. We turn now to a developing story getting attention here in the West and across the country tonight. Fox News is reporting at least 22 people have died in mass shootings in Maine. Gunfire has been reported at 3 locations across the city of Lewiston. One of the locations is a Walmart distribution center. Another is a bar, and the third location has not been specified. Fox News reports a possible suspect is in custody. Still, people in the area have been urged to stay indoors with their doors locked. College students all across the West Coast staged walkouts today to send a message about the conflict in the Middle East. Students at UC Berkeley as well as UCLA marched to show solidarity with Palestinian people. The students called for an immediate end to Israel's siege on Gaza. They also called for an end to the U.S.'s military funding going to Israel. And in the Bay Area, emotions were running high at last night's Richmond City Council meeting, where the board approved a contentious resolution about the Israel-Hamas war. The council voted 5-1 to approve the resolution, expressing support and solidarity with the Palestinian people in Gaza. Supporters and critics of the measure who packed the chamber voiced their opinions into the early morning hours.
Do you really believe that you are speaking for the people of Richmond as you pontificate these falsehoods included in this resolution? I can guarantee that you do not.
Today, the genocide in Gaza is on full display for the world to see. From the comfort and safety of our homes, we watch the Gaza death toll surpass 5,000.
Now, the Jewish Community Relations Council condemned that resolution, saying in part, quote, the resolution promotes propaganda, weaponizes historical inaccuracy, and accuses Israel of ethnic cleansing and apartheid in Gaza. The resolution was amended during the proceedings, but remained inflammatory and biased. The San Francisco Bay Area Office of the Council on American Islamic Relations condemned the passage of the resolution, saying, quote, this resolution signifies a step forward in acknowledging this, commended the resolution, acknowledging the suffering of the Palestinian people and the urgent need for change. We hope this resolution serves as an inspiration to other communities to address and raise their voices against the injustices occurring in Palestine and around the world. Increased Israeli airstrikes are threatening relief operations in the Gaza Strip as the violence between Israel and Hamas escalates. The UN says it is on the edge of running out of fuel in Gaza, and hospitals continue to struggle as they face rapidly dwindling resources, and many have to cut its relief missions as Israel's bombings continue. Over the past few days, Israel has let in a small number of relief trucks into Gaza through Egypt. Israel says it won't let in any fuel, however, saying it doesn't want Hamas to take hold of it. An estimated 6,500 Palestinians and 1,400 Israelis have been killed in the fighting since Hamas's initial attack on Israel 2 weeks ago. A man accused of breaking into a Southern California home and threatening to kill the Jewish family living there was heard yelling "Free Palestine" after police took him into custody. Fox 11's Gigi Garciet has more tonight on this terrifying home invasion.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Over and over again, this is what the suspect was yelling as he was being taken into custody after reportedly breaking into a family home at 5:25 this morning.
Unknown suspect broke into the residence, PR inside with 4 children.
The terrified family in Studio City calling 911, asking for help after they say the suspect yelled that he wanted to, quote, kill them because he reportedly said they're Israeli.
Suspect threatening to kill the PR due to the race.
The family is Jewish, but it's unclear if they're from Israel. Also unclear is how the suspect knew they were Jewish, since it didn't appear they'd ever seen him before. Meanwhile, the man, found only wearing underwear, kept on shouting facts and figures about Palestine and other comments not suitable for television.
The average age of the Palestinian is 19 years old.
The suspect, who has not yet been identified, taken by ambulance to the hospital to be medically evaluated. As for the family, thankfully, no one was hurt. The suspect reportedly not being cooperative with police, but they do believe this was an isolated incident. What they don't know yet is who this man is or why he targeted this family. In Studio City, Gigi Garciet.
We are seeing a combination of weather extremes here in the West today. The first big snowstorm of the season has transportation workers urging people in Montana, Oregon, and Washington to be careful while they're driving. Some areas are expected to get up to 18 inches of snow. Much farther south, first responders are still working to get a full grasp of the damage left behind by Hurricane Otis. That Category 5 storm made landfall along Mexico's southern Pacific coast early this morning. We begin tonight's coverage of these storms with Fox 13's Dan Griffin in Stevens Pass, Washington.
Well, boy, have the conditions changed since we started this morning. When we made our way here on US 2, the roads were mostly wet. We got up to Stevens Pass, and this area here was all covered with snow as it really was dumping this morning. But you can see now it's slowed down quite a bit. The evidence, though, of the snow still very much clear here down on the ground. Look at this, fresh powder. I think it's that time of year what we've all been looking forward to. It's about what's left. And obviously those snow plows have been coming through, really have been doing a good job as well. And of course, it's good for a snow fight too, a snowball fight, if you want to have one, at least while it's here. For now at Stevens Pass, Dan Griffin, Fox 13 News.
All right, heading south now, and damage caused by Hurricane Otis is making the main highway into Acapulco, Mexico, impassable tonight. That Category 5 storm made landfall in the resort area early this morning. First responders say it's just too early right now to fully understand the extent of the damage. Images, though, are showing people trudging through the mud left behind by a number of landslides there. Mexico's president has urged people to move to shelters or safe places and to stay away from rivers, streams, and ravines. The rapid intensification of this storm caught many people in the area by surprise. For more, let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Mark Tamayo for some perspective on this hurricane and the conditions across the West. This storm really intensified in a hurry, Mark.
Yeah, it seemed like a really strong intensification at unheard of rates. So yeah, as you can see, a major Hurricane Otis. This was a satellite from earlier today. Look at that well-defined eye. The strongest hurricane to make landfall from the Pacific in Mexico, and the first Category 5 to make landfall from the eastern Pacific. Look at this. The winds increased 115 miles an hour in 24 hours. Just amazing with that real tight center of circulation coming on board. Here's the timeline, as you can see, from 11 p.m. Monday. We were just talking about Tropical Storm Otis with winds of 50 miles an hour and then strengthening weaken in a bit into early Tuesday, and look at by Tuesday night, winds of 165 miles an hour, a Category 5 storm coming on board. Of course, that is devastation and, of course, real catastrophic storm surge as well. The remnants right now, we're just talking about a storm of 35 miles an hour, thankfully weakening. So you heard about the cold winter-like storm moving into the Pacific Northwest, and here you can see the circulation here, the upper level wind pattern producing the cold rain and the snow showers. These are all the storm reports, as you can see, moving into portions of Idaho and Montana, also portions of Washington as well. This one site showing you, this is from this morning, already over 5 inches of snowfall. As we check out the view across the west here, there's that cold storm, but fairly quiet down towards Southern California, closer to Arizona as well. But as you can check out, all the cloud cover in Seattle today, temperatures only in the 50s. So they're dealing with the cold part of the weather pattern. In San Francisco, the clouds have it increasing throughout the day. Temperature is 68 degrees. And in Denver, lots of sunshine. Temperatures close to 70 degrees. No major snowstorms for Denver just quite yet. So here's the overall weather pattern. This storm will kind of move on out to the east. So with that, partly sunny skies up toward Portland and Seattle. 60s for San Francisco, as you can see here. More sunshine out toward Denver and just some 80s closer to Phoenix. Here's the forecast models who put this into motion. There you can see that snowfall kind of drifting on out to the east. And it's a dry day from Eureka down towards San Francisco, down toward Los Angeles and in San Diego. So over the next few days, Seattle gets lots of sunshine, but it's cool down toward Los Angeles. Looks like a sun cloud mix, lower 70s. Phoenix, no triple digits, mainly in the mid 80s. And then as you can pick out closer to Denver, maybe some precipitation, as you can see as we start off the weekend with some cooler air moving in. So it looks like that cold pattern, Alex, wants to stick around for several days.
Yeah, much cooler conditions. Yeah. Mark, thank you. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, speeds of over 100 miles per hour. Coming up, the details now emerging about that horrific crash in California that killed 4 people. Plus, Phoenix getting ready to cash in as the Diamondbacks head to the World Series. A 14-year-old is fighting for his life tonight after contracting a case of E. coli at a restaurant in San Diego. The teen's family says they ate at Miguel's Cocina on October 14th. The teen started experiencing headaches, a fever, and diarrhea. His mother says it was just a matter of days before her son's health took a turn for the worst.
By, I think, Saturday or Sunday, it was confirmed that his kidneys were starting to fail. It's really hard to watch your kids suffer like that.
12 other E. coli cases have recently been traced back to that same restaurant, with 7 people hospitalized. The restaurant closed yesterday as it responds to the outbreak. It says it's working right now with health officials to find out any sources of E. coli in the restaurant's supply chain. We turn now to the latest on the Alaska Airlines pilot charged with trying to crash a commercial jetliner. Today, a lawyer for Joseph Emerson waived a bail hearing in Portland, where he's facing charges of attempted murder. Court documents show Emerson had been suffering from depression. KTVU's Tom Vakar tonight is breaking down what help is available for pilots dealing with mental health struggles.
Professionals would likely define Emerson's actions as attempted suicide by pilot, a very rare event confirmed or suspected in a handful of airline crashes over the last 8 decades. Proving pilot suicide can be very difficult unless there's evidence of suicide notes, previous threatened or actual suicide attempts, or a documented history of mental illness.
It's a high-performance, high-pressure job.
Captain Renee O'Shaughnessy was a commercial pilot for more than 3 decades and is author of This Is Your Captain Speaking, What You Should Know About Your Pilot's Mental Health.
The system is set up to catch those pilots who might need help.
Every 6 months, a commercial pilot must get what's called an official FAA first-class medical and mental examination by an aviation certified doctor.
But mental health is very tricky because it's almost like invisible arrows that are stuck in you. And so it is very hard to detect.
The Federal Aviation Administration says it encourages pilots to seek help if they have a mental health condition, since most, if treated, do not disqualify a pilot from flying.
But here's the catch. Who will want to self-report and endanger their livelihood. Not very many people.
Essentially, self-reporting can be a career ender.
And it takes you 6 years, in some cases, to get your medical back, that piece of paper that you need to operate a transport airplane.
Ms. O'Shaughnessy says for pilots, men and women, having the right stuff to command an aircraft is a big part of their personal identities and psyches.
Pilots are very mission-oriented, but yet they are very bad at self-assessing, especially when it comes to anything that has to do with their flying skills and their identity on and off the airplane.
Her book may be in your library, or you can get it on Amazon. Her complete interview can be found on KTVU.com. Tom Vakar, KTVU Fox 2 News.
Today, authorities in Southern California announced a man has been arrested and charged for that crash last week that killed 4 Pepperdine students. Investigators say the driver in this case was going over 100 miles per hour. Los Angeles County officials say 22-year-old Fraser Michael Baum was speeding at 104 miles an hour in a 45-mile-per-hour zone when he lost control of his car, crashing into several parked cars and then fatally striking those 4 victims who were standing on the side of the road. Baum was released after his initial booking due to a lack of evidence at that time. Yesterday, he was arrested again and is now facing charges.
We're charging Fraser Michael Baum of Malibu with 4 counts of murder and 4 counts of gross vehicular manslaughter.
Baum's defense attorney claims there was another driver involved who was agitated and caused a case of road rage that ultimately led up to that crash. A Sacramento family is grieving tonight the loss of a husband and father of 7 who was hit and killed by an alleged DUI driver. This crash happened along a highway in Utah. Reporter Orko Manna has more tonight on the family's roots in Ukraine and how they're facing this tragedy.
I can't believe it. And I don't want to believe it.
Tatiana Verchirko is still in a state of shock. She's grieving the sudden death of her husband, Maxim. The couple just celebrated their 15th wedding anniversary. They moved to Sacramento from Ukraine 7 years ago as religious refugees. And as she sits in her Sacramento home, surrounded by her young children, she's relying on her faith during this dark time.
В Библии также написано, что Бог никогда не оставляет сирот и вдов.
And the Bible says that God never leaves widows and foster children.
Wiping away tears, Tatiana says Maxim was driving a Sprinter van with a trailer this weekend to sell fruit in other states, something he did as a side business to earn extra money for his family. He had stepped outside the van Saturday morning along I-80 in Utah to check the tire pressure when an alleged DUI driver hit and killed him. Utah state troopers say they found drugs and an open container in the suspect's car.
I don't even know how to explain it, but obviously if the person is not in the right condition, he shouldn't be sitting behind the wheel.
Maxim and Tatiana have 7 kids and they have an 8th child on the way, while their eldest, a 14-year-old, is in Utah to help with the aftermath of the crash. Their 12-year-old daughter is trying to stay strong.
I cried 2 nights in a row. And I was in bed all the time 2 days because I was just really depressed and I really missed him. But I'm just so thankful that I had him.
Now, Tatiana is leaning on the whole family to help raise her children. That includes Maxim's older sister, Ina.
He had a very big heart, very generous heart.
That's how loved ones want Maxim to be remembered for his devotion to his family.
He was a caring father and the best husband.
Orko Manna, KCRA 3 News.
California Governor Gavin Newsom had a surprise meeting with President Xi Jinping on his week-long visit to China. We're told that it wasn't clear if the meeting would actually happen until moments before it did. Climate cooperation is the main focus of Newsom's visit, but the governor said he and President Xi also talked about the ongoing Israel-Hamas war and the potential for China to limit the shipment of chemicals that are used to make fentanyl.
It's impactful for all of us, the willingness to engage on it, and not in a combative or accusatory way, but in a very meaningful and collaborative way.
Newsom also met with China's foreign minister. He told reporters he pressed him on human rights issues, and he signed a memorandum of understanding on climate with China's National Development and Reform Commission alongside the U.S. ambassador to China. President Xi may be attending the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit happening in San Francisco next month. One Phoenix business owner gambled on the Diamondbacks early on. Coming up tonight on West Coast Wrap, how the team's World Series run is now paying off for him. The Arizona Diamondbacks are heading back to the Fall Classic, and businesses in D-backs territory are looking forward to making some money off those World Series crowds. Fox 10's Steve Nielsen shows us how one Phoenix company is already cashing in on the team's postseason success.
Few people could have ever expected the D-backs to be in this situation, but there is one Arizona company that bet big on the D-backs before the start of the season. So I figured, hey, let's play ball. The glove is on and the game of catch begins with the CEO of Phoenix-based Avnet, Phil Gallagher, a Diamondbacks fan going back to the 2001 World Series.
I was there with my son, so.
Game 7?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So it was unbelievable.
At the start of this season, Avnet signed a multi-year agreement to have a company patch on the team's jerseys.
Being candid with you, Steve, I was like, I'm not sure. You know, we're in a business to business. It's tough to justify, and it was just, hey, why wouldn't the two A's in Arizona get together? And we did.
The electronic distributor recently showed off their Chandler facility to us with 2,000 employees. He says they are all in on the D-backs. Just 2 years ago, had a 110-loss season. At no point did you think, hey, I wonder if that patch gets to the World Series.
I got to admit, we did not sign it up saying, okay, if we go to the World Series, it'll be a win. We just signed up because it was, again, I'm going back to the values piece. This has been kind of the old saying, playing with house money. This is all bonus lane, because now we're truly getting national exposure.
Avnet on a World Series jersey, and where that patch is placed is important. When right-handed batters right here, that Avnet patch, it's right here.
Yeah.
And I noticed the left-handed batters, that Avnet patch was right there. How much thought went into that?
A lot. I mean, and I got to give credit to the D-backs because you can see that patch. I mean, you can't miss it.
And then when you got a guy like Perdomo, who's a switch hitter.
Yeah,
You know, he switched to righty last night, and all of a sudden you lost the patch.
Yeah. So we get a discount on that. Yeah, we get a discount when he goes to the other side.
Not to be lame and cliche, all of that, but I think it's fair to say that Avnet hit a home run. Run. Steve Nielsen, Fox 10 News. Go!
Yeah, smart business move there. That does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. You can stay up to date on all the stories we're covering online. All you have to do is head to our website. That is westcoastwrap.com. I hope you have a great rest of your night.